Hey everybody, Alan here with a look at I think the now complete multi-camera setup for FR. All right, let's take a look at this and the changes to the workflow that are going to be involved. I've got our multi-terrain test scene open here. You can see we've got our camera parked kind of off center. I've got the scene view open. Everything is stable. We've got a game view open. Everything is stable. We can rotate this around. Everything is stable. Cool. We can go into play mode. Everything is stable. We're moving this around. Now you'll notice, compared to my preview video, which some of you have seen, I think I left that video unlisted. So if you're from the future, you don't know what I'm talking about. Previously, I was culling all cameras simultaneously, which is faster. But it puts you in a weird case where you have to be very, very careful about your content. I decided that that was a little too prone to human error and maybe not obvious. So I've got to a simpler solution. Now each camera is basically its own FR stack. You could think of it that way. That's not exactly true, but it's approximately true. So the loaded data is still prepped for all total cameras, and then the culling shader is run once for each camera. This makes it easier to just have high-Z just work for every camera. So high-Z functions for your game views, your scene cameras, and for the scene view. I explained that terribly. It works for your regular old cameras, and it works for your scene camera as well. It drills into the scene camera and adds the component necessary to do that. Now, workflow-wise, what's different? Not much. High-Z occlusion no longer lets you specify a culling camera. It applies to all possible cameras. Your registered cameras are displayed here. You can add an indirect camera component to any cameras that you want to have draw via the indirect renderer now. So it's necessary to register your cameras. You do that by having this component around. This is the workflow change. You need an indirect camera on your camera. That's it. Everything else then works the same. Still add high Z buffer like normal. If you want high Z occlusion here, you still toggle that on and off if you want. You've got all your stuff. It gives you a little list here. You can click on these and you can find your cameras. It will register more than 5 cameras. 5 is the limit for how many will be refreshed or rendered into, basically. This works in URP. It works in HDRP. HDRP's high Z is still funky. That's the next project. But for now, you need to do hot seat multiplayer. You need to do security cameras. You're free. You're free to do so. It will just work. You will be able to watch your frame time here. This is really high. It's because it's in the editor mode. But cameras will sort of incur a pretty much linear cost. So plan accordingly. Don't overdo it. We're in play mode off, so it doesn't even care. What else is different? Under Window, Foliage Render, there is no more scene view refresh rate. This is no longer necessary. I've got the timing worked out now where it just draws when your scene view draws. You will occasionally experience weird stuff if you go really fast where like because the editor runs it around 100 frames a second arbitrarily. Right? It's not like trying to keep that 100 FPS. It's just trying to be around 100 FPS. The resolution time for reading the details from a terrain can sort of fall weird, and then when the next render happens, then the scene view will redraw, right? Again, we're not forcing the scene view to repaint anymore. It'll just draw when it draws. So if as you're flying around, you may experience a little bit of like lag perceived lag in the updating of details and so on, and that's why. It's just the editor timing. But this is less options presented to you, making the whole thing less complicated, so I still think that's the right move. You do still have in here for scene view refresh. This is maybe a little oddly named now, and I may change this down the road, but this toggle basically just ensures that the scene view gets registered as a camera with our indirect render. If you don't do that, it won't register necessarily. I haven't really tested that because I don't know why you would want that, but there you go. All right. So that's it. The only thing you have to do different if you've got an existing project is on your cameras, add an indirect camera. This is available currently in the multicam branch. I'm going to let it chill there over the weekend because I don't want to do customer support for it right now. Those of you who really need it can grab it out of the multicam branch, who are already owners of GitHub, have joined the Discord, have talked to the GitHub bot, and gotten your invoices verified so you have access to the GitHub and all the latest and greatest stuff. After this chills till like Monday, then I'll put it in, and that'll give us a chance to sort of tackle any bugs that you guys bump into outside of our test scenes next week. And I'll be trying to get HDRP High Z wrapped up and VR stuff next week. I have a VR client on the horizon, and so VR is maybe a thing that I want to care about. So we'll be pushing forward on that stuff. As always, questions or concerns or cool stuff you're working on using Foliage Render, let us know in the Discord. Make sure you check that out, and we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody.